A report out today has revealed that racism is an everyday fact of life for migrants living in Dublin. It has documented, this report, high levels of racist violence and harassment endured by migrants living in Dublin. Those questioned for the Taking Racism Seriously study included Lewis inspectors, healthcare workers and bus drivers, and it found that migrants living and working in the city are subjected to high levels of racist abuse and often on a daily basis. The report illustrates very starkly the price being paid for our lack of consistent, effective and strong action against racism. Jason, you're on FM104. How are you, Jason?
Yeah, how are you, Adrian? Yeah, I was living in the city centre and I was going down by, I went down by, you know, Moore Street.
Yes, I do.
And I went in, I was looking at all the clothes in the shop, all the watches and all that, and the colour fella in the shop turned around and said to me, "Get up, we don't want you use that type in here."
We don't want your type in here.
Yeah, we don't want you that type in here. Yeah, and I said, "What do you mean?" You go, "This is it. This shop is for us, not yours."
And he told you you weren't welcome.
Yeah, he did indeed. Yeah.
And what did you say to him?
I told him, I said, "Wait, what's the story?" I said, I'm only looking at all the watches in the clothes, because they're nice clothes now." And he told me, "Get out. You're not welcome in here."
All right, let me go to Mark. You're on FM104. How are you, Mark?
How's it going?
Now, Mark, you believe that foreigners do experience, you say they do a lot of abusive things also.
That's it as well. You see them in town all the time as well, like groups of them starting fights, clusters, like a lot of things, like they cry racism all the time, and I think they're treated a lot better than the Irish people in this country that have no jobs and stuff like that as well. Like there's certain issues of welfare checks and all stuff like that, and housing opportunities.
Okay, but I want to talk about none of that tonight. I want to talk about the fact that what it says in this report today is racism is an everyday fact of life for migrants in Dublin. An everyday fact of life.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I suppose it is as well, but I'm sure they do give their fair opinion of, they do give their fair slander as well, you know?
In other words, they're as good as giving, they give as good as they get.
Yeah, that's it. You can't really say, like, I don't know, like, whether you mean Africans or whatever you're talking about, Polish, Croatians, but they're all over Dublin now as well, and there's plenty of them murdering people and raping people. It's in the newspaper all the time, you know what I mean, and on the news, and it's always like these crazy bus drivers that are from different countries that kill people and all, like, so what's the story with that? Would be like, they let these people into the country and they're running amok.
All right, well, let me go to James. You're on FM104, James. How are you?
Not too bad.
Now, James, you have been the subject of racism on a daily basis. This report is accurate, that racism is an everyday fact of life for you.
Yeah, most of the time, yeah, it is. Actually, you know, like, most of the people here have traveled worldwide. Like, every country you go to in the world, you find an Irish person there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, we do, yeah. Irish all over the planet, yeah.
Then they'll be looking down upon you. I mean, and I do believe that these are some of the guys who haven't traveled before, because Irish are known, like, they are people that are known in each country. Like, in any country in the world, you find an Irish. So how come that people are here and these same guys are just turning blind eye on other foreign people, which is not really fair.
Now, you say that you, as this report says, racism is an everyday fact of life. Give me an idea of the way in which it rears its ugly head in your life.
Actually, most of the time, you know, like, I drive a taxi, you know what I'm saying? And most of the time, like, somebody will stop you, and as soon as they see you as an African, they just make their hands like, move on. You know, sometimes some people would even get to the taxi, like the old people. They can't really see. You know, they can't see well. They get into the taxi. Then after they get into the taxi, then they see you as an African. Then they say, "Oh, no. Just leave me here." You know, without even making any payment for wasting your time and getting into the taxi. You know, and it goes on and on. And even among the taxi drivers themselves, I mean, many of the Irish taxi drivers are kind of doing all these kind of things to the foreign taxi drivers as well. You know. Like rank, like O'Connell Street rank, no, I mean, how many times as a foreigner can you get in there? When you go, they'll be telling you, "Oh, I'm not the last, because that place, when you go, you take a last from them. And when you go and they see you are foreign, you are not an Irish, you will not be given the last. And when an Irish person comes, then they give the person the last, which is not really fair.
And do people make racist comments to you?
They do, yeah. Most of the time, yeah.
Like what? Give me an example. Give me an example of what somebody has said to you in a racist way.
Some of these old people will be telling you, oh no, this rank is not for the blacks. You better go to maybe the panel's fifth rank, which is for the blacks or whatever. They do make these kind of comments, yeah. Some of these old taxi drivers, they do make all these kind of comments to your face.
All right, so
you'll be grouping. You'll be starting in groups.
So the color of your skin gets you lots of negative comments, gets you lots of nasty, horrible comments.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, stay there for a second.
People to know that, like, you can judge people based on the race. You can judge person based on the person's attitude, not like the race that the person comes from. Because some people might be black, they might be nice. Some people might be Irish, they might not be nice. You know what I'm saying? So you can't judge somebody based on the color. You must judge the person based on the attitude of the person, not the color. Which is really unfair.
All right, stay there for a second. Let me go to Gary. You're on FM104. How are you, Gary?
How's it going, alright?
Now,
that fella there, the taxi driver.
You can, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering, is he collecting the dole as well?
What has that got... Gary, what's that got to... Even if he is, what's that got to do with this conversation? Nothing.
He's very sick, man. What kind of
somebody get everything handed him.
I have my own
complaining that people are racist against him, which is not true.
Which is not true. Yeah.
What, you're saying you have very little sympathy for people who are subjected to racist attacks?
Ask any foreign taxi driver, they will tell you how it's going on there. And not only the taxi, like the people taking the taxi themselves. Many of these guys are like that. Some of them, when they come to the rank, then they say, oh, you'll be on top of the rank. They will say, oh, no, that's a foreign fella. They go to the bottom of the taxi to take an Irish man. Is that not true? If that guy is a taxi driver, then he will know that I'm hitting the nail. I'm saying the truth, and nothing more than the truth is what I'm trying to say.
And it's not the first time we have heard guys saying exactly what you're saying. Jude, you're on FM104. How are you, Jude?
How are you, Adrian?
You find this country quite embarrassing when it comes to the way in which people are so racist.
It is, and let's face it is racist, because if it wasn't racist, there wouldn't be this survey done, and this show wouldn't be even having this as a subject. It is racist, and racism is because of ignorance. Loads of people who are racist wouldn't have a clue about the person or the country that the person is raised from. Would they know the GDP of the country? Would they even know the capital of it? They couldn't even speak the language. To hate something, you have to know about it to justify your hatred. It's so much ignorance over in this country, and this country is racist, and that is a fact, isn't it?
Well, according to this report, yes, it is.
And most Irish people who are racist, in fact, the majority of it, it's ignorance, because they haven't got a clue about the country or the person they actually are being racist against. Because to hate someone, there's nothing wrong with hating somebody, but at least you should be able to justify it by saying why you hate them. Most of the people who are racist over this country can't speak other languages. They don't know even the GDP. They wouldn't know a thing about the country that they're racist, or about the person they're racist against. And it is the height of ignorance. Like, let's face it, I said to you before, most people over here, they're not too fussy about the paymasters. And let's face it, most countries or most companies over here have black CEOs, foreign people running those countries, but they don't mind getting their paychecks from them. And they're not bringing the war into it. But I'm just saying, it's the height of ignorance. And of course, Ireland is a very racist, insular country. And it's actually very backward. And that's some indictment of a country to be backward and ignorant towards. And
that's what you believe we are, backward and ignorant in our attitude towards particularly black people.
Yeah,
I mean, you just heard that guy describe, and it's not the first time I've heard this, about how he works as a taxi man and the amount of people that just walk past his taxi because he's a black guy.
Well, that's ridiculous. And if they want to live bad enough, they're only biting their nose to spite their face. But it is the height of ignorance. And Ireland is so insular. And it is the height of ignorance. Because, like, it's okay you can hate somebody, but at least most people on this show, you have the dickhead who can't even speak the Queen's English. They can't even justify it. They can't even quantify it by putting even...
Okay, but I've been asked to remind you, Paul in Selbridge wants me to remind you that only a matter of weeks ago on this programme, and I've forgotten about this, only a matter of weeks ago on this programme, you said you hate gays and Jews.
Well, first of all, hating Jews is being anti-Semitic. And being anti-Semitic, to hate a Jew, you have to recognise them as a race. Jews don't have their own country. Being anti-Semitic is not racist. If I hit a Jew or hurt somebody, it's not classed as a racist crime, it's an anti-Semitic crime. Being anti-Semitic is not racist, because Jews haven't even got a country. They were given a country in 1947 by the British. Being anti-Semitic is not being racist, because the Jews, to be racist, you have to recognise a country like Pakistan, Nigeria, whatever, as a race. To be anti-Semitic, you don't have to recognise Jews as a race at all.
I would totally and utterly disagree with you. I would totally and utterly disagree with you.
No, and I'm not asking you to do that, and I'm not even propagating my opinion. But I would say, I was waiting for that to come up. But being anti-Semitic is not being racist, because I am not racist. There's many a time in this programme haven't I always defended and rang up and defended foreign people, foreign nationals, dark people, black people. Haven't I? I've never ran them down, have I?
No, just Jews and gays.
Yes, and to hate gays is not being racist.
It's being homophobic.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's promoting hatred. It's promoting hatred against a group of people.
Well, no, I've never promoted hatred. I never told anyone to hurt gays or hurt. I haven't promoted. I just say my opinion. I've never propagated or told people to do it. That's my opinion, but I never told anyone to go out and hurt gays, hit them, or anything.
Sorry, Brendan, you wanted to get in on this. How are you, Brendan?
How you doing, Adrian? He's saying he's not racist or anything else, but being homophobic and against gay people would be classed as being racist or anything else, because it's against a different breed of people, you know what I mean? And he's against Muslims or whatever else, you know? He's just a complete hypocrite. That's all he is. He's a complete hypocrite.
You're not a complete hypocrite, because there's gays in every...
You are a complete hypocrite, George. You are a complete hypocrite is what you are.
No, there's gays.
A complete hypocrite. No, listen. No. You can't say that you're going to be... You hate people that are racist and blah, 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 and then say that you hate gay people. You're just a hypocrite. And you basically did say that you were against racism in Ireland, did you not?
Yeah, but I never said I hated them, but there's...
Did you say you were against racism in Ireland? Did you say that?
Racism altogether.
You're against it, are you?
Yeah, but racism means hating someone from another country. There's gays from every country.
No. No, it's not just basically hating someone from a different country, Jude. No, it's not.
No, my name is Jew, not Jewish.
You're an ignorant idiot who says that Jewish people don't have their own country. You're a moron, Jude. That's all you'll ever be.
Jude, say it right, Jude.
Accept
it, right, Jude.
You're a moron who comes on this radio station all the time.
No, not all the time.
Complains, bitches and complains, and you're just...
I'm sorry to cut across you, Brendan, and in fact, I'm going to get rid of him off the phone, because this conversation tonight isn't about Jude, okay? And I'm going to get rid of him off the phone now, because I don't want this conversation to be about him. I want this conversation to be about what we said it was about, which is that racism is an everyday fact of life for immigrants in Dublin. Now, Jude probably is a bit of a hypocrite by saying what he said, but the conversation isn't about him, and I don't want to focus specifically on him. Melissa, you're on FM104. How are you, Melissa?
Hey, Adrian.
Now, Melissa, it says on my screen, and this is not something to be proud of, you admit to being a racist.
No, it's just taxi man. What freaks me out is when you're walking down the street where you could be standing there waiting on someone, and like they constantly just come up and like stop beside you, assuming that you want to get in that taxi, and that freaks me out. Like, so you do that? Why would you do that? Like, just
so hang on. Say that again. If you see a black guy in a taxi, why won't you get in?
Why won't I get in?
Yeah.
Because of the way they are with people. You hear so much about them. I wouldn't get in a taxi with a black person. Or any.
What do you mean the way they are with people?
Like, you hear so much about them raping people and...
come on, will you? Come on. Melissa, stop it now. Come on.
You do. That's most of them. All the foreigners in this country, they all bleed and rape people.
No, they don't.
Yes,
Don't be so bloody ignorant. Melissa, don't be so bloody ignorant. That's the most ignorant thing I've ever heard anybody say on this programme. Seriously.
Well, you do. You see it in the paper all the time.
You don't see it in the paper all the time.
Well, most of the time.
No, you don't, Melissa. Seriously, don't be such an ignoramus.
And all of them have the jobs over here. Not one Irish person can get a job because so many of them have a job. And you go into a restaurant looking for food and you can't understand a word you're saying.
So let me just listen to what you're saying here. You don't like black people because they rape and they have all our jobs. Is that it?
Yeah, basically.
You're the biggest ignoramus I've ever spoken to. Honest to good God, you scare me. And if that's the attitude of... And don't start texting in about bloody radio stations in Nigeria and all that crap again. That's just pathetic. Absolutely pathetic, Melissa. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
No.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Peter, you're on FM104. How are you, Peter?
How are you, Adrian?
Peter, what do you make of a gobshite like that?
No comment. I see it daily. I work in town. I see it here on the taxi ranks with the taxi men themselves, the colour taxi men. They do shunt them off all the time. And I work in the security trade, and I see them abusing security on a daily basis. They spit at them, names.
Do they not spit at just any old security guard?
No, not as much as the coloureds or any other nationality from Chinese, Polish. They treat them worse. I see it daily.
And they, in other words, they give them an extra hard time. Okay, security guards obviously get a hard time, full stop, but they give them an extra hard time if they happen to be black guys.
Yeah. But the taximen, I see the taximen daily. I see them coming up on the sideline.
I've seen it myself, I have to say.
It's terrible.
And look, at the end of the day, we all have a free choice of what taxi we get into, and I won't get into a car that's a clapped out heap. I just refuse to. I get into a halfway decent car. And if that happens to be driven by a black guy, well then I'm sorry, Mr. Black Guy, but I'm not getting into your car if it's a clapped out heap.
Yeah.
But that's nothing to do with why I'm not getting into his car. But I have seen it myself. Is it down to racism or is it down to ignorance?
I think it's down to ignorance. People
that Melissa one I would call just an ignorant fool.
Yeah, unfortunately, people don't understand other people's beliefs, their cultures, and we're a multicultural society now. We have to accept everybody as they have to accept us, and everyone seems to be getting on well, but just certain situations, people just go mad. They blame, as you say, it's ignorance. They blame it on that, and they'll start abusing them. Go home, you're taking our jobs. Well, to be honest, if we had got out there to get the jobs in the first place, we'd be working. Okay, so you think that that a lot of people are just pure ignorant? Unfortunately, I'm probably jealous. Jealous of what? That they have got up off their rear ends and got jobs. They've gone out looking for them. There's plenty of jobs out there. If you look hard enough, you will find it. But there you go, Melissa. You're just jealous.
Adrian, if I was to go over to I wouldn't get a job in their country.
Why do you think they came here in the first place, Melissa? Because there aren't any jobs.
Yeah, exactly. So we can't get jobs because they're taking their jobs.
All right, hang on there for a second. Let me go to Siobhan. You're on FM104. How are you, Siobhan?
I'm fine, thank you.
Now, it's Melissa you wanted to talk to.
Well, no, I mean, I didn't particularly want to talk to her. I mean, first of all, her opinion it's shocking. It's quite shocking to think that somebody Irish has that opinion and is that undereducated, for a start. Now, I would have an issue with getting into a taxi drive with a black person for the simple reason that in past experiences, they tend not to know where they're going. And they get lost.
Thank you.
And but hold on. At the same point, I don't have an issue with people who are black or who are any other race. And what you said about them raping people, I mean, that's just pure. I mean, seriously, girl, would you ever grow up and, that's ridiculous. That but they don't rape people any less than any other nation or any other culture in the world.
Sorry, Melissa, what did you say?
How do I know that?
Because she has half a brain, Melissa.
Because they're people.
Somebody texted in a second ago, Melissa. I have to agree with Jude for once. Racism is rife amongst the ignorant, and that fool Melissa just proves it.
I mean, it just shows her, first of all, her lack of education, her lack of class, by what she said. I mean, I might have my own opinions, but I'll base them on something, whereas, sorry, really, Melissa, just...
Do you not get this, Melissa? Do you not get how ignorant and stupid you sound?
No, because what I'm saying is right.
What you're saying is right.
Do you know, I have to say, listening to people like that, and I listen to Phoneshow quite a lot, it sometimes actually nearly makes me ashamed to be Irish when I hear people like that. Because it makes me think, is this the kind of society that we've been brought up in?
And you see, I'm not just picking on this girl, because sadly the people who have the attitude that she has are the people who are shouting dogs abuse on the street at some of the black guys walking around town.
But I've also heard it through other callers, through other nights on different, and it appalls me, the lack of education and the lack of tolerance within the Irish society. And I think that's something that they need to look at, or that we need to address, rather than shouting at people who are black, people who are gay, people who are different. We need to kind of look. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, yeah.
Thank you.
Now, when you hear this report that says that racism is an everyday fact of life for migrants in Dublin, does that make you ashamed to be Irish?
Yes, it does actually, because I mean, to be honest with you, my thing would be, if people come over here and they get jobs and they can do the jobs, and there are Irish people out there who are not willing to work, well then, more power to them. I mean, I was unemployed through ill health for a long time. I went and set up my own business a year ago, and I'm doing quite well now in a recession. So it can be done if you're willing to work.
Let me go to Agnieszka. You're on FM104. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Grand, thank you. Now, you're Polish.
I am, yeah.
And a victim of racism every day.
I witness racism every day. I'm not a victim of it every day. I'm here quite a few years. So I took the Celtic Tiger years, and when there was plentiful of jobs, and there was enough jobs to go for more than there was people in Ireland, together with all the foreigners. And still in the job, assistant manager of one of the shops that I was working in has said, a comment that he would never hire me purely because I was Polish, and if he's seen a CV from someone Irish, he would hire them over me purely because of my nationality. So that is definitely something racist, because he wouldn't hire me based only on where I'm come from, rather than, your
ability to do the job.
Exactly, yes. But I guess that just shows to prove the nature of the people, how they are. But
and when you say you witness it on a daily basis, like what? Give me examples.
Well, that's what I wanted actually to say, that you need to be fair, and, within the Polish community, there's a lot of, you can say, racism towards other people too. It's not only racism against us. We also are racist, and, it's not myself, but people I know of that are here in this country a couple of years, not necessarily, speak English, even though they had plenty of chances to do it. They don't live the lifestyle that Irish people do. They don't know them well. They don't have Irish friends. They don't really mix that much. Yet they do have strong opinions about, like someone said, that Irish are lazy, that's, loads of bad things that they have to say.
So what are you saying, that Polish people can be very racist as well?
Sure, yeah, I guess. Sure. And it's just...
and sorry, when you say racist, do you mean racist towards Irish people, or...
Yeah, yes, yeah. Definitely, yeah.
Which is creating a tension.
It is, yes, definitely is, but it's just not all Polish people do it. I guess what I'm trying to say, it doesn't matter if you're Polish or Irish or black or green or yellow. If you're just not educated and ignorant, you be racist. No matter where you are, you can be racist, even not being in your own country.
And sadly, that Melissa girl a couple of minutes ago was just...
confused, I guess.
No, just ignorant. Just pure and utter ignorant.
Well, I'm not sure about her, it's maybe no point discussing her. I'm not sure if there's hope for her anymore. So.
No, I'd be inclined to agree with you. But sadly, there are many Melissas amongst us who are, whatever their motivation, and sometimes I wonder what their motivation is, but who, when you hear people making such sweeping statements about a race of about a race of people, that is racism. That is just pure racism. You look at American racists and they come up with all these mad statistics about black people and what they do, and like Melissa talking about them being rapists and all. This is such a load of bull.
Well, obviously, if there is a big community of foreigners here, you will have cases of rape, murder.
Yes, of course you will, yes.
Like you would with suicide and being victim of crimes too, you know. It goes you're just a member of society. And so, yeah, you will be part of the same statistics, I guess. But it doesn't matter your nationality or if you are in your own country or not. You can be racist or not, and it just purely comes from ignorance. And it cannot be tolerated because there's nothing that can justify it.
Okay, now Damien, you're on FM104. How are you, Damien?
Oh yeah, Adrian, all right.
Now, Damien, it says on my screen, agree with Melissa. In what way?
Adrian, the book is not always, it's not always the same, I suppose, on the front and back. I was out in Swords one night, myself and my wife, and I was coming out of Eddie Rockets. We were on Main Street, Swords, and I was standing on the side of the path. This taxi pulled up, okay? Your man lets the window down. He says, "You're looking for the taxi?" I said, "No, I'm not." It was a black fella.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "No, I'm not looking for the taxi." Now, myself and my wife and our friend was there. As true as I'm standing here, well, obviously I'm sitting in the house. He said to me, "You racist Irish bastard," and put the window up and drove off. So it's not only the Irish people who was racist in this country. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, so he had a chip on his shoulder because you didn't want to get into his taxi, and he assumed that you didn't want to get into his taxi because he was a black guy.
But the other thing is as well, I heard that fella talking earlier on, the taxi fella saying that people, you're the paying customer, whether you want to get in the first taxi or the last taxi, whether he's Polish, black, Irish or what, you can pick what taxi you want.
I do, yeah, I understand that, Damien, but hang on. Let's face facts here. Yes, you can, and it is the law. You can get into any taxi you want, and I've already said if there are a couple of taxis in a row, and the first three are capped out heaps, and the fourth one is a Merc, I'm going to go into the Merc. Now, that's just me.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Now, if the Merc is being driven by a black guy, I'll still get into his car. That's the point I'm trying to make. But I've seen with my own two eyes people just walking after past car after car because there are black guys driving them.
Me, I'd do that.
Why?
Well, I'd rather give the money to an Irish fella than a foreign national.
Do you see that as being racist, no?
No, I don't see it being as racist. The difference between me and obviously a lot of Irish people is they would rather see the money come back into the economy but by paying an Irish fella because either he's a mortgage and his bills and everything else, whereas these are living off the state, they don't need the money as much as an Irish fella.
I was talking to a fella about a month ago, yeah? A black taxi driver.
Yeah.
This fella was born and reared in Ireland. Was born in Ireland in 1979, has lived here all his life, and people walk past his taxi because he's a black guy.
Well, he must be one of the fucking few.
Because this guy is as Irish as you and I are.
Well, that's my point being, he's one of the very few.
My point, yes, he is one of the very few. I agree with you, but the point he was making is he is getting people walking past him because of the colour of his skin. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, you probably shouldn't have everyone with the one brush, but unfortunately that's the way it is, and that's the way it is. It's gone because you look at everyone that's working. I mean, I'm working and I'm one of the fortunate people to be working in the state of where, and the majority, and I mean the majority of the companies now, all just employ, foreign nationals, and that's where the racism comes from, Adrian. It's deliberated from the government here. They should have put a stop on the amount of people that come into this country when the recession happened and allowed some Irish people generate back into employment. I mean, people are saying, there's people on here saying, oh yeah, well, Irish, that lady that was on there saying she has her own business, how many Irish people does she employ?
No, she's not there anymore. Or is she still there? No, she's not, no.
Yeah, I guarantee you there's not many Irish people employed in that job, and that's why she's probably fucking defending.
All right, hang on there for a second. Let me go to Nico. You're on FM104. How are you, Nico?
All right, not too bad.
Now, you yourself are Nigerian, is that right?
Yeah.
And on a daily basis as well, racism is part of your life?
Yeah. What I used to say to people now, they call me fucking black. I said, that is my nickname. So.
Say that again?
They call me fucking black, and I said, that's my nickname.
That's your nickname?
Yeah.
And what sorts of things do people say to you on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, I'm a taxi driver. I picked up a fellow the other day from Suffolk Street. He said he was going to Grace Park Road. For example, that is one of the stores. I was on my way just across O'Connor Bridge, turn right. Then he said, he was trying to tell me where to go. I said, no problem. I started laughing. I said, you say you're going to Grace Park Road? He said, yeah. Then I was just heading down. Then the next thing is, you are fucking in my country. You fucking do what you're told. Or you fuck up from the country. All sorts of nonsense. Stupid abuse. Then I said, no, I had enough. I stopped the car and I said, get off my car, and that's the end of it. He said, no, I'm in his country. I have to bring him down to his house. Then I said, all right, you don't want to get off the car. I will drive you down to the gas station. As I was driving, he opened the door. He was trying to jump off. Then I stopped. Then he got off the car. So
okay, so he was. This fella was talking to you like you were a bloody dog.
Yeah, it's not the first. And in Turkey as well, I picked up a lady and a fellow and his wife or the girlfriend. As soon as he heard her from Nigeria, the next thing I heard was she was just pouring abuse on him. That I should fucking go back to my country. We are ripping up the country and all the stuff. I said, look, hang on a second. If I was on the door and you are abusing me or using all these insultive words on me, I will understand it. I'm here working. At night, I could stay with my family at home. I'm working, paying my taxes, and I live in Germany, I live in Spain. The insult, the racist insult I have received in this country, I have never in my life. They said Germany was supposed to be the most racist country. I live in Germany, Nuremberg for 6 years. I have never had any comment of racism against me.
Now, let me go back. Damien, are you still there?
I'm still here, Adrian.
Damien, do you think it's acceptable for a man to be talked to like a dog?
No, but I mean, at the same time, Adrian, there's nobody forcing him to stay here. If his life is that fucking bad, why doesn't he go back to where he came from? I mean, if we went to Nigeria and I was getting abused like that, do you think you'd stay there? You wouldn't. It's just because they're getting the fucking benefits and everything else. It's too.
Hang on, the man has just said he's out working, he's paying his taxes. Now, let's.
2 doors down from me, he's a taxi driver, and I know he's on the dole because I've seen him collecting it.
He might be just working 20 hours a week.
Yes, they're all bleeding down it. They're all milking the place.
I'm sick of hearing people on the doors driving taxi.
Well, if you're sick of it, why don't you go back to where you came from? Then there's no one forcing you to fucking stay here.
You know what I'm just going to say to you? You are just an ignorant. And you
whatever.
Where you see Irish people all over the place.
Whatever. If we went to Nigeria, I wouldn't have the life you fucking have over here.
We used to work with Irish people in Germany, and they never get any abuse from the Germans. And all over the place, I hear the government pleading for the illegal Irish people in America.
Yeah, well, the difference between...
And I'm here, and I'm married to an EU citizen, and I'm getting abuse from you people every day.
Well, there's nothing stopping you from staying here. If you don't like it, you know what to do. Go back to where you came from. There's no.
Well, no, would it not make a little bit more sense, Damien, for people to have a more courteous attitude to him rather than treating him like a dog?
Well, the thing is...
Hang on, do you think it's acceptable for somebody to talk to that guy like a bloody dog?
Come here, Adrian, everyone, they look down their nose. Most of the foreign nationals look down their nose on the fucking Irish people here as well. It's not just once, it's not just coming from the Irish people back to them, it's vice versa.
What would you say to that, Nico? And in fact, I'm about to go to a caller who believes that foreigners like yourself can be just as racist in return.
They fucking are, Adrian.
Well, hang on, let him answer. Go on, Nico.
Look, I'm a foreigner. I've been in Europe for over 20-something years. And I'm married to a white woman. And I have never in my life been a racist. There was a day I was in Sherborne Park, where they do the dog race. I was just staying on the rank. I was the first on the rank. For over an hour, everyone that was just looking at me, they were going behind me to pick up the taxi there. I went back home. I went back home with the intention to say, no, this is the end of my marriage. I was crying on my stairway. What have I done? Have I shat on my body? Or what have I done?
I'm sorry, but if you hope I feel sorry for you, I don't, so...
I don't want you to be sorry for me.
Well, I don't.
You should be sorry for yourself.
I'm not sorry for myself.
I don't want anybody to...
You see the attitude of somebody like Damien as just being pure and utter ignorance and stupidity.
That's what I said. It's an ignorance.
I'm not ignorant.
I came here over 9 years. I have been working all my life. I have never gone on the door. I lost my job. I decided to go on the taxi.
On the door and on the taxi.
I could stay on the door for life. And I'm working my ass off for the country.
For the country. How much tax are you paying?
That is not your business.
You're paying fucking none, that's why.
In what I pay tax.
Yeah, how much are you paying then?
You are there. You are collecting the dough.
How much tax do you pay if you pay tax in your taxi? How much?
If you want,
you don't pay any. Tell the truth.
If they want, I can send my tax. The last year tax I paid.
Well, then tell me how much you paid.
That's not your business.
Yeah, you didn't pay fucking any.
Well, no more than I'm going to answer that question for you, Damien. I'm not going to tell you how much tax I paid last year.
You don't pay any tax. Most taxi drivers don't pay any tax, even Irish fellas. So he's.
Well, that's a conversation for another night. They have to have tax clearance certificates to get their licence renewed, so they have to be paying some tax.
Got the right social number there, anyway. So.
All right, Helen, you're on FM104. How are you, Helen?
Hello, hiya.
Grand, thanks, Helen.
Just wanted to put a pint across there. It was about 7 years ago. I was actually down in Moore Street, and my daughter had got her hair done for confirmation and them special plaits. And a person told me there was only one shop that I'd get them in, and that was the shop in Moore Street. And when I walked in, she was a very, very big coloured lady, and she made a run down the shop at me, and I was like stepping back. I was like, oh my God. And she was like, and I said, I want to buy some oil. You out. You're not welcome in here. She said, white people not allowed in here. Now, I have to be quite honest with you. I'm not prejudiced against them. I have a coloured family not living very far away from me. I love them. I love every bone of them. And they're very welcome into my home. But I have to admit to you, and I'm probably going to get lashed over here, I would never, ever get into a taxi with a coloured person.
Why? Because of that one incident in the shop?
No, I get taxis a lot, but I would never ever get into a taxi with a black person.
Why?
I'm just terrified of them.
You're terrified of them?
Terrified of them, yeah. Because, like, I'm not being bad, you hear, you know.
You are being bad, but go on.
Yeah, the horrid stories that you hear, like...
stories, come
by
on.
a lot of taxi men. What about the man on the bus in Parnell Street, which was actually issued in the paper? The poor lady got on the bus and gave €2. He didn't understand. He thought that she was being, how would you put it? You don't get change off a bus.
Mm-hmm.
So she just kind of shook her hand. And there was 4 witnesses on the bus. He actually got out of the seat. He started shouting at her. And the lady, she was only a young girl. And it ended up, he actually punched the girl in the face. And believe it or not,
hang on for 1 second. Yes, of course, in every society, in every type of people, you're going to get bad eggs. There's no denying that. But how can you tarnish them all with one brush because of an incident in a shop and a bus driver? You're saying... So hang on. Nico, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you pull up for this lady, Helen, and she's not going to get into your taxi. Now, Helen, please tell me why you won't get into this man's taxi.
Because I'm afraid.
You're afraid of him?
I'm actually afraid of them, yeah.
That's pure ignorance, Helen.
Adrian,
hang on for 1 second, Helen. This is as pathetic as that young one who was on earlier on. You were afraid of somebody just because of the colour of their skin?
Yes.
Do you realise how stupid that sounds?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't get into any Ford National car. And I think everybody... I'm not prejudiced against them. As I said... no, I am not.
Well, then you want to look up the word prejudice, then?
No,
you want to go and get a dictionary and look it up?
I would argue, yeah, well, okay, you can contradict me on all you want there, Jeremy, but at the same time, if there was someone getting bad on my road, I'd be the first person to go out and help them. But I mean, you're asking me for my pint, and I'm sorry, I would not get into that car.
What do you say to that, Nico? She's afraid of you.
This is what we are used to every day. Someone flag me down the road, you look at me, I'm a black, he said, fuck off. Yeah, that is, day in, day out, we are saying this. So
well, then why had she got the right to tell me to fuck off for shop? Because I was...
Forget about the shop. That's nothing to do with the taxi man.
It doesn't matter, he's the same.
And somebody just texted in, that is absolute... I won't read the word out. My wife got her hair done by that woman on Moore Street, a really nice, polite woman. You are an uneducated, ignorant fool.
God help her.
Well, I'm just telling you what...
Taxi man, get on your phone and I tell you the hair will stand on your head when you hear the stories. And the women as well. Oh, Ballymun, that was attacked by them. Go on, I wouldn't even bother talking to you.
There you go. Helen, I know you're going to be still listening because of a 10-second delay, so you'll get to hear exactly what I'm saying here. You are just another ignoramus. I won't get into Nico's taxi because I'm afraid of him. Adrian, you're on FM104. How are you?
How are you doing? Not too bad. Yourself?
Grand, thank you. Now, you're Romanian.
Yes, I am. I'm actually living 11 years in this country. And I'd like to talk a bit with that guy, Damien. Is he still on the phone?
Which fellow? Damien. Are you still there, Damien?
Still here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm delighted that you keep saying that all foreign national. I'm working since when I arrived in this country. Okay? At some stages, I had 3 jobs. Never claimed the social welfare. Even this, when there's the recession, there's still plenty of jobs around which Irish don't want to do it. Never mind. We have my life here. I have a mortgage. And you keep saying that, we keep collecting the dole. Let me tell you an example of ignorant people like you. I'm with my wife, which is an Irish girl, married 9 years. We're together 10 years with 2 lovely kids. Yeah? Her parents disowned her because she married me. When they found out that I'm from Romania, she got disowned. Her parents never met.
So these parents disowned their own daughter because because she chose to go out with a Romanian fellow.
Yeah, her parents never met me, Adrian.
And disowned their daughter without ever having met you.
Yeah, never met me, and we have 2 lovely kids. They never met their grandkids. Every time we try, they didn't want to do anything with us.
How could they make if you're working 3 fucking jobs? You must have never seen your mom.
So I used to work, mate. I'm working now in one job, working for my family, paying for my mortgage, never been on the dole, and I'm paying actually my taxes probably for many like you, collecting the dole and paying for your house, your medical card, your social pass.
Well, if you were listening to this, you fucking idiot, you'd know I was working. I'm not claiming the dole, you dumbass.
Yeah, for ignorance like you.
Well, here, listen, you thick fuck. I'm working.
Yeah.
Right, so...
Yeah, but so is he.
So cop on to yourself.
So is he.
Yeah, he just said he's paying for my medical card. I'm not one of the lucky fucking foreigners in this country getting it.
Well, see, you keep saying that all the foreigners get it. What about all yourselves, what you're having?
I told you I'm working.
Okay, you're working, grand. Now, Adrian, your wife's parents have never even met their grandchildren because they'll have nothing to do with you.
My daughter is 3.5 and my son is 14 months. They never met the kids. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And they never met me. I wouldn't mind if somebody don't like you when they meet you. Fair enough, no problem. You can't say you don't like somebody because he's a foreigner. You never even met that person. You never set eyes on her. When they never came to our wedding, nothing.
That's awful to hear. That is awful to hear. All right, look, I'm going to have... Sorry, what are you laughing at, Damien?
I'm just laughing at your man getting blanked already. It's great.
That's a pathetic attitude to have towards another human being, Damien.
Oh, well, fuck him, Adrian. I couldn't care less about him. And anyway...
Well, I wouldn't care about you at all. That's the problem.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, because you're an ignorant prick.
Yes, whatever you bleeding.
Right, good luck, lads. Good luck. Well, a text just came in, and here's somebody that I'm quite happy won't be listening to our show anymore. You're one big wanker. Wankr. I will never listen to your phone show anymore, you big wanker, AK. That's fine by me. Switch off the radio or switch on one of those boring shows. Because I don't want you listening. F off, Adrian, and grow balls. They're using our country and women. If you don't like someone, don't mean you're racist. Effing sick of that word. And Adrian, if you love them so much, go live with them. And if texts like that don't prove what a nation of absolute ignorant gobshites a huge percentage of us are, I fear for the future of this country. I really do. And I mean that sincerely. The fact that I would defend somebody like that fella Adrian, who's worked for 11 years in this country, or the taxi man who's never signed on the dole, who's just worked since he got here in this country, and you want me to say that it's okay for people to just walk past his car because of the colour of his skin, and an idiot like that woman saying, I'm afraid of them? Seriously, I despair for the future of this country. Really annoys me.